one wins. Three, two, one, brawl! Player 2 wins. Three, two, one, brawl!
3-time champion. I'm looking to finish this before he goes to the second step. But Radish is not letting that happen as he finishes him with the neutral shit. Radish has a lot of work if he's going to bring this game back. We've seen Radish bring back plenty of comebacks, especially last week. Anything is possible for this man. Radish going for his typical NSIG off stage. And just like that, he's bringing back the damage, but not before High can finish the match.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
Alright, and we're back. So it seems like while I was gone, Radish and Hive managed to even up the games to 2 stocks apiece. Hive took game 1 almost in convincing fashion, but as we see, Radish is no slouch when it comes to evening up stocks and even evening up damages and taking the lead. We saw that all too well last tournament where he did that about 4 times. We'll see if he could pull that off this tournament as well. Right now, Radish is taking the lead damage-wise, but he hasn't taken up the stock. But that should be no issue for him, considering he's on a very high damage legend, while also being on the smallest kill zone maps in the entire game. High with an interesting option going for ground pounds. I don't know if he's just trolling at this point or what, but he's better get it together seriously, because Radish is not somebody to play around with. He's zoning out the weapon, but Radish just kinda skedaddles right through. And just like that, Radish takes the stock with the Seer, just showing off how small Brawlhalla really is. Looking to be playing more serious now. But Radish is not letting him get off the hook that easily with a nice little 3-piece orb string. And only further and continuing the damage with his meticulous playstyle. He's looking like he's on the high, excuse me. He's looking like he's on the ropes, but takes the stock relatively quickly, but not without taking a lot of damage first. He'll have to work really hard to get this back, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem on a map such as Small Brawlhalla. But just as good as Radish is when it comes to stealing leads, he's equally as good as keeping it, so High's got his work cut out for him. Low space nearby High there, unarmed. Has Radish no weapon, but Radish goes high up to get the weapon spawn. Radish looking to close this game out. Wow, and there goes game 2 to Radish. That's the thing about Radish, he doesn't get flustered easily. Doesn't matter how many times you beat him, you're still gonna see that Petra. And most of the times it has worked out for him, as he is a 3-time champion in this tournament that you can sign up for free every Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern PM. It's free, so why not get better while also making some money? Bars.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
And we're into game 3 right now. High showing off his ground pound once more. I'm not sure why he keeps going for it. Raiders seem to, have a field day with him when he's using those. Radish taking a very commanding lead, already has High inside of red kill percent, even on this larger map. High recently only able to find chip damage, nothing major enough to really keep up with Ray's damage output. Just like that, Raiders takes the first stock while still only in light orange, now darker orange. I don't know what's going on with High, but he seems to be doing better after he loses his stock. I don't know about him, but I know when it comes to me and I lose that first stock, it's just like I don't care mode. I'm just gonna go for it, and that's what it looks like he's going for. But Radish is sick just beating out Highs right there, and he's able to get that damage. Radish finally in kill percent, but it might be a little too late, as High himself is also in kill percent but missing a stock. Radish perfectly timed and spaced side sig on the gauntlets, and that's gonna kill. 3 stocks to 1 right now. It's looking like Radish is looking really good to be a 4-time champion here. Is there nobody out there that could challenge this man? If you feel as though Radish is getting to the bag too easily, by all means, get up in this tournament and prove him wrong. At this point, Radish might as well get himself a time sheet and clock in, clock out, because it's looking like easy money against his competition right now. Side sig on the orb. Every game, Radish has progressively done better and better. First game he lost, barely. Second game he won, with being 1 stock himself. And this game, he was almost looking like a 3 stock, but loses that stock. So it's looking like this one is going to be a 2 stock clean. Recovery pushing him that far up on Mammoth's Fortress is not a good sign for High. He's even getting his way with the unarmed. He's looking for style points at this point, throwing his weapon up. At this point, Radish does not care. He's in that big of a lead, but High says, I'll take whatever I can get. If you're gonna troll, I'm gonna win. And it doesn't matter. Radish already got his work done early, so he's able to finish that stock with just a recovery, unarmed.
Custom. Custom. 3, 2, 1, brawl!
Alright, and we're into losers bracket right now. Mr. Carrot versus Paris, two extremely good players. I've had the luxury of watching both of them. Even against each other, they do have some history here. Last time they fought, I do believe that Mr. Carrot did win. There were a few words exchanged, but all in good sportsmanship. So we'll see who'll get the final laugh today. Paris trying to zone out Mr. Carrot with sword, which is one of the best weapons in my opinion when it comes to zoning out players, especially when it comes to the edge guard situation specifically, just because of how fast it is and the Zaire. Ooh, Paris just barely hitting that neutral sig on spare the later stages of it. Both players pretty even in color right now. This is a good fight. Mr. Carrot maneuvering around the weapon throw. Takes the first stock with his recovery. Let's see if he'll weapon starve, which he will. Switching to the scythe, feeling more comfortable on it. I think it is the better weapon when your opponent is unarmed, but doesn't really matter for Paris as he gets the weapon pretty quickly. Paris now side-airing him off stage, gets back on stage, and then hits him with the D-light recovery. Not enough though. Mr. Carrot doing the signature. Back to get back on stage, excuse me. Not working necessarily, but Paris takes his Paris takes Mr. Carrot's first stock, not without taking quite a bit of damage himself. Mr. Carrot looking to take this stock rather quickly if he's to continue the lead he has. Paris already in red right now. That recovery, that ground pound, excuse me. Mr. Carrot is just dominating the stage right now, which is one of the most important. You ask any pro, any semi-pro, anybody with half a brain at this game, they'll tell you stage control is very important, and Mr. Carrot is abusing it right now. Mr. Carrot, beautiful weapon starve right now. Getting quite a bit of damage. But is Paris going to take this stock without taking any damage? No, Mr. Carrot makes it back to stage. Beautiful execution though by Paris. It is extremely hard to keep somebody off stage that long, especially somebody as good as Mr. Carrot. Just broke 2,400 last season, looking to break 2,500 this season. We'll see if he's able to do it. But the way he's playing today, I'll say it's a pretty good chance he'll be able to do that. Paris takes Mr. Carrot's second stock. One stock, one stock. However, Paris is in orange, Mr. Carrot is in yellow. Mr. Carrot is not really one to sell leads, so we'll see if he was able to close out this one. He has played against Mr. Paris before, so he does have some experience knowing how to fight against this particular player and playstyle. Ooh, that weapon throw that he previously threw out actually saved Paris from the full force of that side tick. Let's see if it'll even make a difference though. Mr. Carrot keeping his space. Paris throwing the weapon, might be getting a little bit desperate or just wants a weapon that's better for killing. Ooh, beautiful weapon throw by Paris to save his own life right there. Had that connected, it would have been over, but matters not as Mr. Carrot finishes this game with a down sig. It was good, Paris. Shout out to Paris for shouting out the stream, man. Paris with the quick strikes. He knows what he wants. Not a man to waste time, and neither is Mr. Carrot as we're going straight into our next game. Both of these players, once again, are extremely talented and do have history. So this is actually one of the better matches, despite it both being a loser's bracket. Both players get their weapons relatively quickly with no damage taken for the most part. Mr. Carrot, beautiful read. He tries to go for another read. Being somebody who's close to Mr. Carrot, he has been working on that read inside of training room, and it's good to see it coming to fruition. This is Mr. Carrot with the damage lead once more. Spear, another good weapon for zoning out if you really know how to use it, and trust me, as somebody who's fought Mr. Carrot, he knows how to use it. Paris tries to save himself with the weapon throw upwards, but I feel as though it's way more effective when you do it closer to the stage, not when you have a weapon with such a wide ground pound, such a spear, edge guarding you like that. Paris trying to take back this stock quickly. Mr. Carrot is just having his way right now. Side sig from Rayman, but on this map that is not gonna kill. Small Bar Haven, sure, but not this map. Much bigger kill zones. Patience by Mr. Carrot to get the Enlight after the wild recovery on the axe. Axe is not a recovery you want to be using as your first option to get back to stage, as it does put you in a lot of end lag, leaving you susceptible to lots of punishes. Mr. Carrot makes light work of that stock as well, staying on this first one of his. Beautiful spacing and execution by Mr. Carrot. He is feeling it. Probably the person who came closest to knocking Radish down a peg, but came up short, unfortunately. Pear is trying to possibly get into the head of Mr. Carrot by taunting, or maybe it's just some good old sportsmanship. Who knows? But Mr. Carrot joins in on the fun. Paris does not take advantage. Mr. Carrot looking really good to win this game. I'm sure he's feeling really good. Mr. Carrot with the nair on sight. Whenever you see that nair taking you that far, you know you're damaged. Paris trying to save himself again with the same weapon throw upwards. Didn't work the first time, and ain't working the second time, as Mr. Carrot takes this game and the stock with the ground pound. And just like that, Mr. Carrot moves on. Great match though. Looks like his experience was just too much for Paris.
Custom. Three, two, one, brawl!
are 1-1 currently. Got here a little late. But here we have Arrow Spear versus Kevin. I'm not very familiar with either players, but I have seen the name Kevin bounced around a little bit. And what little I do know, Kevin is making his name known. Looking pretty good against Mr. Spear here right now. 3 stocks to 1. Kevin is on the Bryn, which is a high speed, high defense, pretty much all around type of legend here. Using the axe, which is my personal favorite weapon in the game. See what he's able to do here. Lance was recently nerfed. Some people would even go as far as to say gutted. Personally, I still think it's a very viable weapon, but you see who the true players of it are after that nerf. And recently just went through a shadow buff, which has been a pretty controversial topic inside of the Brawlhalla community, as why would you need to hide a buff? But Kevin here says buff or no buff, I'm gonna take this game, and he's looking pretty poised to do so right now. Ooh, if that recovery just hit a little bit lower, that probably could have taken a stock even on this large map. Beautiful end sig by Mr. Spear here. One of the best sigs on Ogrum, one of the best neutral sigs on Axe in general. Really good for taking early stocks or even just finishing a delayed one. But Kevin's still looking pretty poised to win this match right here. He's doing his best to avoid Axe, but Aura Spear is playing a very passive yet aggressive type of gameplay right here, which catches a lot of players off guard because it matches 2 playstyles that a lot of players can't deal with. Ooh. And just like that, Kevin takes game 3, making the games 2-1. And he's moving on.
Custom.
Alright, here we got Mr. Carrot versus Kevin here. Kevin looked pretty good in his last match, but Mr. Carrot looked even better in my opinion, as he did make light work of Paris, and Kevin did kind of struggle towards the latter stages of his fight. But They both
3,
fought two
2,
entirely different players, so we'll see how they match up
brawl.
against each other. It'll be an interesting match. We've seen a lot of small Mammoth Fortress. It's one of the OG maps when it comes to tournament selection, because for the most part it's a flat map and it does have space, so you're not dying as fast as you are on Small Bar Haven. Mr. Carrot, beautiful spacing and weapon starve, goes for the sig and ends up allowing Kevin to get his weapon, but not without Kevin taking quite a bit of damage. Mr. Carrot, beautiful edge guard right now. I really thought he was going to make it back to stage, but that ground pound almost sealed the deal there. Especially against Thor, who is a very high defense character. Mr. Carrot is making it look like he only has Jala defense. Not even Thor's NC could save him that time, as Mr. Carrot takes stock number 1 while only being in light orange himself. This dude is looking like the real deal today. Sarah to end light, it is a true combo on Spear. A lot of people don't know about, but only works towards like the earlier stages of a stock. So you gotta get that in white to light yellow. And Mr. Carrot is taking damage lead on this stock as well. This might not be the pick for Kevin. Last game he played Brent, he might have to swap back to that. Side light Seer. Not enough to finish the deal on this huge map. Mr. Carrot taking back stage control with a quick Seer. Goes back off stage. Kevin does not capitalize as Mr. Carrot continues to get some damage in. Usually games like this are hard to come back from if your mental isn't one of the strongest, because seeing yourself down so much, you start making excuses and you end up fulfilling a self-fulfilled prophecy of just losing. So we'll see if Kevin has strong enough mental to come back from this one. Mr. Carrot is sure not making it easy. Sayer to get his weapon. Mr. Carrot dancing around the stage, making it look like it's okay for Kevin to come back. Kevin getting some damage here. He'll need it if he's going to take this game. Mr. Carrot, 2 ground pounds, both miss. Goes away his weapon. Kevin does not capitalize on this because he was too far. Mr. Carrot side stick back to the stage, and that just tells you how damaged Kevin was, because he has a very high defense legend on a huge map, and a side stick from that distance was able to kill him. Mr. Carrot weapon started for quite a bit now. Kevin just floating around, waiting and praying for a weapon to spawn, and he gets it. Nair by Hammer, which is what I like to call a force field, because that's what it feels like. Controversy about how that Nair hits grounded, but that's for a later topic. Mr. Carrot getting some damage in on his second stock. Hopefully trying to end this game right here on this stock right here before he has to lose it. Kevin the Sayer pushing Mr. Carrot off stage, giving him the stage control, but Mr. Carrot comes back with ease. There. Into the ground pound. Looks like Kevin was trying to get the recovery but misses it. But he does manage to get the ground pound, which is why Hammer is such a dangerous weapon to go off stage against, even if you have the lead, because of his heavy gimp potential and ability to bring a game back just like that. Mr. Carrot's movement has just looked amazing today. His spacing, movement, everything looks purposeful today. But against a weapon like Hammer, you need that, because they only need a few hits to get you within kill percent. Mr. Carrot taking a risk going for that ground pound, as he could have easily been reversed, and that's what Kevin is looking to do right now, and he pulls it off. Unfortunate for Mr. Carrot, this one definitely has to hurt, as he had the lead the entire game and loses it because of impatience. This one's got to hurt. He's gonna stick with his legend though, and I think anybody should have stuck to the legend after that, because he was winning the game. It's just, like I said before, Hammer is not a weapon you want to play with, even if you got the lead, because it could easily be switched on you just like that.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
Alright, so we're into game 2. Kevin taking the lead here. He's got to feel good, giving him some added confidence that looked like he needed. Mr. Care, excuse me. Hopefully this doesn't break his mental and he's able to pick up right where he left off. Tough exchange between Mr. Carrot and Kevin right now. Kevin is looking to be getting the better of Mr. Carrot right now. Carrot, beautiful ground pound. Unable to get to there though. Beautiful read right there, taking the spot down. That's the nature of Scythe. You have to get a bunch of dodges to make up the same damage as a heavy weapon such as axe or hammer. But it didn't seem to be that big of an issue for Carrot last match. Let's see who would be able to pull it off this match. Beautiful edge guarding right now. Uses the platform to his advantage so he doesn't have to use as many jumps to hit the spear. What a snipe with the spear. Once again, Thor is unable to make it back to stage. It was such a beautiful snipe from Mr. Carrot. Sayre coming out from the hammer, which almost killed, and that one does. As Kevin evens up the stocks without taking any damage. Kevin using that force field. Really weapon starving Mr. Carrot right now. Not able to get too much damage though, as Mr. Carrot is able to even it up in just 2 hits and even take the lead in 3. Beautiful, way more patience from Mr. Carrot, but he does risk a lot. Going for that ground pound. Kevin is looking to take the stock early, but realizes he's unable to do so unarmed. Mr. Carrot daring to Sayre, which is a pretty viable combo if you know what you're doing on Spirit. Mr. Carrot with the nair right there. Ah, that's gotta hurt, as Kevin just messed up a true combo, meaning that it's a combo that your opponent cannot get out of if you do it correctly. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to do it correctly, and Mr. Carrot was able to escape. Beautiful space Sayre by Mr. Carrot. Like I said before, he's looking really good today with the spacing, the movement on his main Mirage. These longer, drawn-out matches are definitely way more in Kevin's favor, as he does have way more defense than it is for Mr. Carrot. Also, from the perspective of a mental thing, he lost a game that he probably feels as though he should have won. So the longer these games drag out, it's probably really hard for him. Kevin, once again, taking a stock earlier than Mr. Carrot's able to. But Kevin in really dark red right now. At this point, just breathing on him might be enough to kill him. Carrot misses the read right there. I think for Mr. Carrot gets punished for it heavily. If Mr. Carrot wants to continue in this tourney, he's got to do it now. He is on tourney stock right now. And he does with the GC down sig. I'm sure Kevin wasn't expecting it to last that long or to hit him in that way. So, one of the best ways to get better at this game is to just learn the viable options, but be unpredictable with it. Mr. Carrot has learned himself. Mr. Carrot looking to make a comeback here, but Kevin seems very motivated to not let that happen. They're coming off from Mr. Carrot as he tries to occupy the ground, but the weapon from the Thor is enough to just break it. And Kevin seems to have been catching on to Mr. Carrot's jumping as he continuously used down sig, which is a great way to call out somebody's jumps. GG's to both players, but Kevin is moving on.
Custom.
Alright, here we are in losers finals. Only one of these players will make it out to hopefully get a shot at the champion. We have Kevin going against High right now. Both extremely talented players that I've had the luxury of watching throughout this tournament. And Kevin was able to make that comeback against Mr. Carrot on this store. We'll see if he'll be able to, you know, do it a little bit more convincingly against High. High coming out with some fast bow stuff right now. Using the exclusive sword from Brawlhalla. One of the best swords in the game, if I don't say so myself. Beautiful Gimp by High right there. Showing off those incredible Gimp potential right there. High losing that stock relatively early, but he'll be able to bring it back if he's smart about it. Due to the nature of this map. Small brawl. High playing very patient and poised right now. Not really getting sped up or slowed down by Kevin right now. Jeez. If it don't work the first time, go for the second time. That's the philosophy High is deciding to live by right now. As the first down stick misses and the second one connects. He's just spamming it at this point. High, Koji, which is the legend High is playing, does have incredibly high dexterity, one of the highest in the game, so he's able to do that with way more confidence than a lot of other legends are. Kevin gets the sidelight near. High recovers low to avoid the detrimental recovery on Hammer. And High takes another stock before Kevin even gets a shot at his. Kevin is looking pretty poor out there right now. Kevin probably a missed input right there as he ground pounds too low for his bridges. And Kevin finishes it with a dare. High, armed once more. With relative ease, Kevin didn't even try to weapon start there. Not really sure how confident Kevin is on this store, but hasn't been looking too good recently. High just having his way right now. On this double-edged platform. Double-edged stage, I should say. As you could either get really quick kills against high defense legends or vice versa, making it harder for you to kill the high defense legends. Kevin weapon starring currently, but High takes advantage of it himself. High unfortunately gets hit by the Nair on hammer, losing his stock right there. One stock even. Similar position to what Mr. Care versus Kevin were in, and we've seen how that worked out for Kevin, so maybe he'll be able to do the same thing. But this time he's on Orb, not as much game potential as Hammer, not as good of a weapon currently in this meta. But still not a weapon to be played with, as it is always been a very solid weapon since being brought into the game. Kevin trying to weapon starve here. High says, I'm not taking no parts in it. You could have the off stage. I'll stay safe on this platform. And High with the notorious down sick on Koji's bow. Takes game 1. Quick to go back into game 2. This time we are seeing Kevin on the Teros, which is another legend who has the hammer, so he might be a hammer man. I'm not too really sure about Kevin, and he did opt into the speed stance. Teros is a legend that's balanced for the most part until you look at his dexterity and realize just how low it is. Most players for this reason tend to opt into the dexterity stance, but Kevin has chosen to go a different path as he went into speed.
3, 2, 1, brawl.
He's gonna have to be really precise with both his attacks and movement, as low dex means higher punishability, and against a weapon such as bow that makes that look like child's play. Interesting choice. Beautiful down stick by High right there, getting lots of damage in on Kevin before Kevin really even has a chance to retaliate. High with the Sair into GC down stick. He's making bountiful use of that down stick. I don't blame him. One of the best signatures on that kit. High conditioning him with the repetitive dares on bow, only to turn around and say, I'm going back to my bread and butter, the D-sig. But despite the onslaught of attacks by Kevin, bow is still a light weapon, so they're not too far off in damage. If Kevin gets a few more attacks, then this could be way more even. Like right there, he just changed colors. Kevin goes for extremely risky play right there, but it might have paid off as a little bit of a bait. Kevin actually takes stock 1 despite being the same color as his horns. High being very uncautious right there, losing that stock pretty early, but he's able to bring back the stocks relatively quickly, so. Kevin floating around looking for that weapon. He did the same thing against Mr. Care, and then he finds it relatively quickly. This is a strat I use myself, as it is mostly inopportune to engage in these types of things without a weapon. Kevin looking for a weapon again after discarding it. Looks like he wants the axe, goes for the stick and gets punished for it. He is off stage against Teros, which is another legend with high game potential. Ooh, if he held that maybe just a second longer, he might have been able to call out that dodge, but releasing it too early, Kevin is actually the one who got the punish. Kevin with a damage lead currently. Looking to turn it into a game, but High not determined to let that happen. Beautiful GCs coming out from High this entire set. I'm sure he's very familiar with using GCs. A very skillful approach, however, it is very punishable if you do miss, because you no longer have a dodge for at least 3 seconds. Kevin coming out with the D-Light Sair on hammer, reliable, quick, and affordable. That's how I like my cars. Right. High with the sword, true combo, sidelight into Enlight. Both players just maneuvering around right now, occupying their space. Kevin is the first to break neutral, but he is behind currently. High fakes like he's going for the weapon, comes back, hits him with a sidelight unarmed, pushing off stage, allowing him to maintain that stage control uncontested. High with the true combo, D-Light into recovery. And just like that, damage is pretty much even. And this is something to expect from a legend such as Terrace, who wields 2 heavy weapons with such high damage. Gotta work harder with them light weapons, man. And Kevin just took that game from right under High. Impressive showing by both players as we go into game 3. Kevin deciding which map he's gonna play. He decides to go for Small Great Hall, which could actually be a pretty good map for him if he knows what he's doing on the X. X is known for being able to utilize soft platforms to get 3-piece combos for true. So
3, 2, 1, brawl!
Alright, and we're up. Kevin gets the first hit, but High gets the first weapon. Kevin, however, gets his weapon, no damage taken at all, until just recently. Tried to go for a cheeky gimp, unable to finish it though. I wonder if High's getting a little bit nervous as he does throw away the bow, opting for the sword. Beautiful read. Anticipating the jump, he goes for an N-Sig, which was able to catch him and add on some much needed damage. There into side sig. High is not scared to use those signatures, which is unadvised for a lot of newer players. But for High, that's just the way he plays. Switching off his playstyles. And now we see his infamous GCB sig on bow. Kevin occupying the side of the stage, and High says, "You could have it. I know how Terrace can be, so I'm gonna play it safe here." Ooh, poor dodge swift coming out from High as he causing him to lose that stock earlier than he probably would have liked to. Kevin seems to get a boost from being the underdog. If he's able to take this game, let's see if that boost will be enough to take him into winners and eventually grands. High takes the stock though without taking too much damage. He's only in a light yellow, which could be easily returned in about 2 to 3 hits on any of his weapons. Unlike into Nair coming out from the bow. Reliable, but it's not true. Be light there, which is true, coming out from the sword. Just like that, High takes the damage lead in smooth fashion. And like coming out from the sword, he's occupying the center of the stage, which for most 2D platform fighters is the best way to ensure a lead. But Kevin eventually does the same, forces High off stage, and then looks for the recovery, the second one I should say, as he did make successful of the first one. High tried to hit him into his thrown up weapon, but Kevin moved out of it. Or was hit out of it, I should say. Timely sig from Kevin on the D6 coming out from the X. It's a beautiful sig if you're anticipating a player moving in close to you. Kevin did just that. Kevin looking for a little lead right there, unable to connect. And just like that, Kevin takes the game. 2 stocks. He seems to get quite the momentum boost from losing the first game, coming back the second game. So let's see if he could do it for the third game. This time winning with 2 stocks rather than just 1. High eventually being forced off of his previous Legend of Koji, which was doing quite well up until this point. Now using his Vow on the custom skin, showing that he's not new to this, he's true to this.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
We're going on Small Brawl, which seems to be many Terrace's playground. Interesting choice by High coming to this map. Possibly due to the fact that he has higher defense on this legend, but he also has and the fact that he has lower attack allowing him to get quicker kills. We'll see if it comes back to bite him in the butt. His Val looking pretty good, especially the sword. He probably wanted to keep the sword from the Koji, but not the bow. Switch into a more anti-axe weapon, being gauntlets, as it is able to get into a lot of Axe's dead zones with relative ease, and that's actually where gauntlets start. Beautiful GCs. One thing that doesn't change about High is those GCs. There we see it again. And there again, back to back. I'm sure Drake is on his playlist somewhere. Just like that, High takes the lead. However, he's gonna have to get some damage in if it's gonna be worth it. Beautiful dodge coming out to avoid that there. High unable to, Kevin unable to find many hits right now, but same could be said for High. But all he needs is one. As Kevin takes the lead, not the lead, but the stock. And like coming out into the Zaire. Beautiful patience and read by High, and beautiful dodge. Those split second dodges are extremely hard to do, and High has done it twice in this match. Playing very poised right now. Looking like he's not letting his past losses get to him, as he knew he had a third game. Beautiful feints coming out from High right now. I'm not sure how much they're affecting Kevin, but it's looking like it's doing something. DC side stick on arms, not much to side stick on the gauntlets. Taking that stock even faster than the last one. High not wanting to go off stage, so he just stood there and took the D-Sig from Teros, which put him in a different color entirely. High maintaining the center stage, able to force Kevin to move where he wants him to move. Still doing the GCs. Like I said before, axe recovery is not something you want to mess around with. Kevin did it and got punished for it. Now, Kevin is used to being down and coming back, but not so sure he'll be able to pull it off this time against the Val. Alright, minor interruption, but I'm back. This game was still going on, but High finishes it right before I get anything to talk about. Kevin switching off to his Bryn, which we saw earlier, but we haven't seen since. Maybe he's opting for a legend that has more decks, as he feels as though he's been punished too much. High taking this to small Mammoth. Our most viewed map this tournament. All of this just to come back and fight the champ, the 3-time champ, if I may add.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
One could only hope that the rest is getting to Radish. Weapon throw into the end light on the players just maneuvering around each other. High being able to do it a little bit better. Gets the end light off. And the nair. He's just zoning out Kevin currently. Whenever you're unable to really find your footing with X, it becomes a way worse weapon. As you do need space to operate with X at the most optimal. And it seems as though Kevin has found it as he gets the recovery, just almost killing High there. High almost taking it, maybe if he had a higher force to legend, but Val doesn't really have too much in the strength department. But what it lacks inside the strength department are more than makes up for with the speed and the defense. Kevin staying on stage. High using the platform to his advantage to get a higher recovery. That wasn't able to kill, but the Ensig was not, and he takes the first stock, being quite damaged. Not sure if his defense could help him here. Not much the defense could do when you're that red, so Kevin was able to even up stocks quite quickly with his axe here. And even furthers his damage on the spear. See, High seems to thrive on the sword whenever his opponent's in the air. It's a specialty that Sword can do with its nairs and recoveries. Able to get back to the stage and goes for a very risky ground pound, but is able to make it back safely. It's like when you walk into the wrong neighborhood, but don't nobody be outside the house, so you good. I looking to finish this stock quickly. Not even opting to go for a weapon. He said, if I'm gonna finish this, I'm gonna finish it with my own hands. But Kevin does not shame that same remorse. Kevin looking to weapon starve, take the stock before High is able to get his hands on a weapon, but unable to do so as High brings the sword out. Both players opting to throw their weapons, both connecting. Risky Sig coming out from High as he anticipated a fast fall from Kevin, but that Sig was not as risky as he was able to land that one. Opts with a recovery instead of the air. Doesn't matter as he's able to kill with an N-Sig once more. N-Sig is incredibly fast and deceptively strong for such a low defense, a low force legend. High just making himself dizzy right there. So dizzy that he didn't even see that end light coming. Kevin just kind of moves into that end light from High. Both players doing well to move around one another right now. There isn't many hits that are being unanswered by the other. One stock right now. Currently it is 2-2, so we'll see who is gonna have to be satisfied with their place here. High's looking like he can make a comeback. If he keeps throwing out 6 like that, it might not be possible. And Kevin takes the game and also takes this set with his Bryn. Off of the X recovery, High doesn't stay very long. That has got to be tough to be hit by.
Custom.
And you know, bro. We end this. Well. I'm back again to commentate for
3,
finals.
2,
Here to
1,
join
brawl.
Prank Shot. I kept
good
him
with
alone
that.
for too long.
That was good, man. All
We are
right.
we're in the finals. Good grand finals. A best of 5. Radish against Kevin. Kevin, crazy up and coming this tourney. When grand finals. This is grand finals. We are the biggest grand finals in Brawlhalla. That's no cap.
No kizzy.
No cap.
So we got Radish.
Anyway, from what we've seen so far, Radish, as usual, very dominant, taking first off like that, pretty easy.
Yes,
pretty
sir.
simple. But Kevin going with the branch for most of the tourney, he has been going forward for that hammer. Seeing him swap to the fear and axe is different. I did not catch his other game, so I would just like to go to you. Prank Shot. How was his axe? I think he went Keros.
Yeah. In his later set, in his earlier sets, he did go Tyros, and I was quite impressed with the axe play. He doesn't seem to be the best axe player, but he's more so, in my opinion, a hammer player, as I did see him on Tyros, and prior to that, I did watch him on Thor.
But do you think, in the case of this matchup right now, how well do you think he can score against our current tourney champion?
In the case of this match, I mean, right now, the stats don't lie. He's looking pretty good right now. However, I do think the Axe into Gauntlets matchup is going to be an issue for him. As an Axe man myself, I know how hard it is to fight Gauntlets with the Axe. So, especially somebody as talented as Radish when it comes to the Axe. And look, he just had the lead, and in the midst of me talking, the lead goes back to Radish. So
Yeah, I see what you're saying here. Ooh,
That's
take
nice.
it back real quick though. But I definitely agree. That Axe Gauntlet matchup is very different, a little bit, seems a bit difficult here. And we've seen that with Radish right now. Ooh, good side save. Kevin. We're gonna ignore what I just did, guys. I was gonna do that anyway, I promise. But a very quick match. In terms of with Kevin and the Kevin High matchup. You know, that match was definitely a little bit longer. This one is moving a lot faster, as you know, they're moving at a quick, faster pace.
most definitely, most players on one stock right now. Radish going for his signature GC Sig. Nobody really seems to punish that. Not even with a weapon tucked downwards. Being somebody who fought Radish, what goes through your mind when you see him bust out that so frequently?
I'm not gonna hold you. Bust out the what?
The GC Sig off stage.
GC Sig off stage. Now, real quick, Kevin takes game 1. That's crazy.
Right.
You know, you never see Radish normally takes game 1, so Radish gonna have to pull off something crazy. But the GC Sig, as a former Petra main, or Petra's second, whatever.
Right.
GC Sig off stage is very good, especially when you're below stage. It covers up literally like almost all that, like literally all that edge. It's crazy how much it covers. GC Sig off stage, especially if they're very aggressive. Like here we got Kevin here. When he's on that axe, I'm not gonna hold you. He be going crazy, but you got to be careful when Radish got that before, because that is definitely Radish's best weapon and best option right now. But in the world of GWE sports, anything is possible. We could see Radish retain the championship, or Kevin just become a whole new champion. Honestly,
I'm sure the fans are looking for some parity right now, but Radish is not somebody who cares what the fans want, as he's just gonna keep on winning. like you said before, Kevin does take game one, which is pretty surprising. But let's remember what happened to the
Ooh.
last dude that took game one.
Let's say that was a crazy satellite side sig. Sorry, satellite side air. Some insanity there with the weapon throw to kill him off. Honestly, that's just pretty crazy.
Looks like we might be getting a repeat from last week where Radish loses game one and just decimates the rest of the tournament.
Decimates? Listen, with Radish, anything I could see is possible. Anything.
And Radish we trust.
R.I.T. Wait, IRWE. Right? Radish we trust. Anyway. Radish, oh shoot. Radish, ooh, just barely comes back on stage. My man's could have killed himself there. You gotta be careful when you're on stage with that spear. Very, very easy to get weapon.
Very. Speaking of somebody who's fought you a lot, I know from first-hand experience how easy that is.
Listen, it's because I did fight you a lot. You are right. I did catch you with a lot of gimps with spear. That ground pound, I always say deadly. Kevin kills himself. He can't touch the stage. That ledge couldn't hold him.
It's momental. As Radish just hovers around him, and it's enough to fluster Kevin to where he loses his stock prematurely.
Hey, Radish moving definitely a bit different here. I'm pretty sure Kevin's gonna look for a sig here anytime soon. Never mind. Hush my mouth. The recovery on that Demon Island high ceiling. What do you think of this, Sparky? Well, let me not do that. I wish Sparky was here.
Honestly.
I miss Sparky.
Give me Sparky or give me TWK, bro.
But, ooh, wait a minute.
The patience.
Radish waiting out Kevin. Kevin with that spot dodge, getting him killed, making the game 1-1. Ain't that crazy? Excuse me, sir. What was that? What was that? What was that? Huh?
Nah, I was just saying one.
Yo, you were saying one? Yeah, that definitely sounded like one. Ain't that right, Shaq? Anyway.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
Jax, I told you, get back in the closet. What are you doing? Anyway. Radish here coming out. Yeah, everything's fine. Nothing at all. Anyway, Radish with that nair, holding him off with that orb. So far, Kevin has not been able to touch him. But that orb has definitely been a weapon throw. I think that may cost him. Oh, he needs to be looking for a kill on Gauntlet. Does he get it? Nah, that was in the middle of the stage. Maybe a little bit more would have lived. Side sig on Petra. Really good sig to use. Ooh, recovery kills. Radish taking almost nearly no damage. This guy is just...
Sheesh.
Guy look... Brother.
What's good?
What's good right now is Radish really taking him out with this board. Best of 5 game, might I add. Literally, Radish needs to win 2 more games. Oh my gosh.
Wow. That is painful. That's just painful to watch, let alone feel. Like losing your stock like that early to unarmed, it's gotta hurt.
And honestly, with Axe, you would think it'd be easier for him to come back, but it's just what the heck? He just didn't come back. Radish still 3 stocks up. Kevin's gonna have to look for a miracle with this one. Double D like Sayer. Not hit though. He's looking for a downside sig. I almost called it. But either way, it's still killed. Radish still 1 up. Kevin's gonna have to look for something insane. Radish throwing everything out the window there. Ooh. Both of these men going crazy. Good end light. Ooh, D-Light instantly, man.
Ooh! Oh my god. What a way to go out. If he would have finished that with the ground pound, I would have had to get up out my seat, man. Throws the weapon up prematurely to style a little bit. This is what happens when you take the first game from Radish. If I was y'all, I'd put the gun down and I'd walk away. That's what I would do. See him switching over to the Teros though, looking for a little bit more firepower, a little bit more gimp potential. Kevin, as the loser, gets first strikes. See what he's taking out. Left out small brawl, but Radish isn't falling for the trap. He's going back to Demon Island where he just took the dub.
That match was so crazy. I forgot to unmute my mic.
That match was
kill,
so
bro.
crazy, it knocked the power out of Mr. Charisma.
My goodness, Radish taking that great game. Kevin running with the Teros. I did not watch the entire match of Kevin against Ty. How was Kevin's Teros?
Kevin's Teros was way better than what appeared to be his other two legends, Bryn and Thor. He was able to get quite a bit of gimps against High, ultimately forcing High off of his Koji into his bow. So.
And okay. Oh, you heard it there. But will Kevin's Teros still be enough for Radish's Love-Struck Petra? May I say, that's actually a really good color scheme. Ground Pound still alive. We're looking for another one. Looking just for a quick kill with the Teros, but Radish sees that. Recovery. Orb recovery to be specific. It's insanity, bruv. This is insanity. Ooh, side.
Even enough
That's
to
hammer
stop
for you.
like that with one sear from the hammer. Beautiful, unlike coming out from the X right there. Gets the dare, unable to get the ground pound, however. Maybe if he fast fell a little bit more, he would be able to get it. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Remember, Radish really only needs one more win to win this tourney, while Kevin needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more wins. 5 more wins. Kevin is in a very, very deep struggle problem here. Ooh, but Radish looking to hold out nothing. Side, is that it? Oh my gosh. Kevin takes that one.
He realized he wouldn't have had enough, so he just tries to hit the dare, trying to get his options back, but unable to get enough of the wall to get his options back. So.
Hey yo, who you betting on, Prank Show? Let's do a burrito bet right now. Burrito bet.
Man, I'm gonna put my burrito on Radish, man. You know.
I was gonna put my burrito on Radish. All right, fine. Put my burrito on Kevin.
All right, how about this? How about this? If Radish wins, we both pitching money to get a burrito.
Okay.
Oh
my god. If Kevin wins, we both pitching money to get 2 burritos.
I like that idea.
I like it too. I bet. Let's see whose pick wins. 1 or 2 burritos.
Come on, Kevin.
I know you can't. I know the people can't see you, but you can't get a burrito. Not unless you give a bet, and there's no 3 people there.
Kevin, come on, man. Let us get 2 burritos. That's all we asking.
Back. Come on, Kevin. 2 burritos. 2 burritos.
Uno mas.
Oh my.
Uno mas.
Uno mas.
Oh.
Mas.
Player 1 wins.
Well, that's just highly unfortunate. That's the game. That's it. You hear the audience clapping.
Sheesh.
Clapping it up for Radish.
Right there with the GC taunt, but Radish was like, nah, I'm gonna wave you goodbye. So Radish takes the game, the set, and the kiss hash.
Well, the good thing about this is that we get a burrito.
Hey, I'm cool with that.
I put my